Yo, what is happening in My Hero Academia Vigilantes? We go from a very chill episode, all things considered. Most of this episode I'm watching, I'm like, yep, this is a good episode, focusing on the characters, learning about them. And Pop Step, gives a picture to a fan, and I'm like, oh, this is a character I expect's probably gonna get turned, by all the steroids running amok on the streets. And then this bee climbs up her eye patch, and I'm like, oh shit, this is wild, right? Like, I'm thinking, who's ever behind this is a brilliant way to mass inflict people with the drug. Oh no, she's the one doing it, and this crazy psycho witch, she's out here, in the span of a few seconds, turns at least 10 into mutated monsters. Now, granted, did the squad come in, All Might, Endeavor, all them? Yes, they did. But this is why, like, this could kill everyone. This is the type of bullshit that was happening before the main show started. Like, obviously, this was just the test run, right? Like, we know this drug gets a lot more effective, a lot quicker as it goes on. But for a first trial run, I ain't gonna lie, this is pretty damn impressive. Like, had this been my first experience to My Hero, I would be looking at this and saying, oh, they screwed. Because I ain't gonna lie, even if the beasts fail, you could do this for so many. You could find the guy who controls Stuart Little and attach some like little miniguns. I don't know. There's a lot of possibilities to inflict people. And for the eel who turned out to be written by Reki Kawahara, who wanted a little action, this was a wild episode that I want to see more of. Of course, I have full live reactions though over on Patreon. You want to see my full and good thoughts? This My Hero Academia hype gonna be over there exclusively. So I wasn't expecting to like this episode this much. The reason I say that is I immediately saw that this was gonna be a simpler episode and more character focused, so it wasn't gonna be as exciting. But even if you remove the excitement at the end of the episode, I still think I might have said this was the best episode, or at least tied for the best out of the three. Obviously, Night's still young, we're only a few episodes into Vigilantes, but I feel like not only because I know of the world already because of the main show, but also how they're presenting the central three. Like, yes, there's obviously some side characters. We got, parody version of Wolverine and Cyclops, but at the end of the day, the main focus is on three characters. We got Knuckle Duster, the Crueler, I love how people miscall him like Crueler instead of Crawler, and then of course Pop Step. And this episode, like, really made them feel like a makeshift family. And I really appreciate that because I think My Hero did a very good job on a lot of different characters being fleshed out. But given that this is a much shorter story and didn't run for as many volumes, it's really interesting how much it's like, listen, this author in question said, here's my central three, I'm just going to focus everything in on them right from the get-go, and I think they've done a really good job, and I think that's why that scene of family actually makes you feel something, even though a lot of authors would try something similar, and I've seen authors try similar, but it doesn't quite have that same level of oomph, Because here's a guy who lives on the rooftop of this one building. He gets up there by doing his Spider-Man climb maneuver, which honestly is pretty cool. And it looks like a metal shack, but to be honest, the interior of it's pretty nice. I don't know how one gets an apartment that's a building on top of a building like that, but hey, props to him. And very clearly doesn't really have a lot of connections. Not sure what his family life's like yet, but in terms of friends, apparently he's got no friends at college. The only time we've really seen him interact with people at his work is the first episode where he got jumped. So, he doesn't really got a lot going on for him. And then you have Drunken Master who breaks into your home, drinks your beer, eats your food, and then Pop Step comes over after her school day and is like, I hate this, I gotta put on my makeup, okay, now I'm comfy. Despite the dysfunctional family nature, you legitimately feel like they're bonding. And I think my favorite thing, it's so subtle, but it's the fact that he continues to refer to Knuckle Duster as Master. Despite everything I've seen from this man. Now, I'm not saying his fists don't lie. Like, he can punch a fool down. But from my perspective, would I call this man Master? No, I would say he's my drunk uncle. But I love the fact that he legitimately is like, no, this is, for better or worse, this is Sensei. And I love the fact that it's this makeshift family. And I love how they're all different ages. So, like, Pop Step's senior in high school. Crawler's probably just freshman of college, and then you got your middle-aged mentor, drunken uncle character who says he has a job. I question that myself, but hey. But the three age groups, they somehow mesh into this very like makeshift family dynamic. And of course, you know, for Pop Step, she wants him to be a little more flustered on the idea of dates, but my boy's not a turbo virgin, so he's like, shut the hell up, and I just absolutely love that. What a Chad. In general, though, like, you actually feel like, because I don't want to say My Hero, the main show, was bad in terms of, like, making you like characters right away, because anyone who says they didn't like certain characters right away in the main show is a damn dirty liar. Because there's a reason why certain characters like a Todoroki and whatnot were, like, immediately fan favorites. But it's so nice having a concentrated, simplified cast, because it lets them feel more developed and complex right from the get-go, rather than needing seasons 3, 4, or 5 to come along to really make you feel that, other than just enjoying their basic at face value personality. Then you combine it with, of course, the steroid plotline, which, you know, obviously we know of from the main show, but the idea of the early version of it, and then just seeing how it can be, it's so simple, but it works. You got Caillou over here, who I thought was an 8-year-old, and then the side view makes me think maybe it's a teenager. I don't know. Caillou didn't grow up well, but we never expected that cancer patient too. The idea that he injects himself because he wants to hold her hand, that's stupid as hell, but if you tell me Idol fans wouldn't do that, you're also a damn dirty liar, because think about it. Idols aren't allowed to have boyfriends. And if they do, you best believe they gotta keep that a secret, because fans don't want to cheer on the person who's being touched by another person. That is a legit issue in Japan's culture. So if you're telling me, if you threw out into a crowd of 10,000 Idol stans these injections that could turn you into monstrosities so that you have potential to hold hands, and you say they wouldn't do it, I'm pretty sure at least 5% would. And to see the eel in action, and how, you know, at face value is like, hey, just shake his hand, that's all he wants. And I was like, he's a weirdo, but he's socially awkward. Hey, it's fine. And then he had to go full Reki Kawahara. He's like, give me a kiss. And I'm like, okay, we're having fried eel for lunch. And honestly, it was just a very brilliant way they dealt with him in terms of like putting flour or whatever to absorb the moisture, so, you know, he wasn't such a slip and slide anymore. It's kind of ironic. This is the character who wanted to make Pop Step a slip and slide, but really, he was the only one who was slipping and sliding, and no one wanted to touch that. Either way, I think this was the best episode yet. The show is legitimately getting better. I think they're doing great with the characters. They have that family bond meets makeshift mischievous family. And honestly, I love seeing the old faces, but I love the fact that despite seeing the old faces, I'm not like, oh, I need to see more Endeavor again. No, I'm like, no, I want to see more of my Crueler boy. I think that's the funniest, like, mispronunciation of his name is Crueler. It's just so good. But I love my Crawler pal, man. I love them all. They're just so good, and it's such a good watch right now. But damn, like, this could kill everyone. Like, literally, having a swarm of bees that can infect everyone is just a wild concept, and I love it. But your thoughts down below. Let me know what you're thinking. Leave a like if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you're new around here. Of course, ring that bell. And like I mentioned, we got those full live reactions over on Patreon. And hey, while you're over there, I'll also give you a video shout out. So today we got Jarl Brolkuth, Omar, Jay Vorty, Daniel Koskell, Smadge Jolf, Connor Brown, GR Vallis, and we also have Nanospace. So I appreciate the support, everyone. Please take care. You'll have a good one.